All right. I think this is live, but still need to do a few things to just check, make sure everything is running okay. If you can hear me, if you're watching this, let me know if you can hear me and if you can hear me okay. I'm just monitoring things on my phone right now. So I'm trying out this brand new streaming setup. I don't do this a lot, but when I do, I just use a phone. But I decided to bring a whole freaking computer in this time. So loud and clear sounds good. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. Let me take these earbuds out. We can get started. So yeah, this is the WonderMaker ZR multicolor printer. I just got this in yesterday. So I've gotten like 24 hours worth of experience, I guess, with this printer so far. So I definitely can't make any definitive declarations about it just yet. But during this live stream, I did just want to just show the printer. I want to do some live printing so you can see what happens in real time and see if it ends up shaking itself apart. If it happens, it happens. And yeah, just whatever else happens along the way. And as well as keeping up with these comments, let's see, I may have seen several comments about the ZR and they are not very nice. Yeah, so that's the thing about this printer. I did not know anything about it really until I was contacted to check it out. And I wasn't even contacted by WonderMaker. I was contacted by SaneSmart, which is, looks like an online store that sells some WonderMaker products as well as products from other companies. So I've got no communication with the actual WonderMaker. And someone left a comment on the community post that I put up yesterday about how there were some beta testers for this printer and they decided to leave the project, I guess, because they felt that their feedback was not being taken seriously and changes were not being implemented by WonderMaker based on their feedback and stuff like that. So that's made people kind of worried about this. And then from there, I just started scrolling down to see like, man, what else is going on with this printer? And some people that have gotten like early versions of this, beta versions of this, or whatever, some of them have not been having good experiences with just the whole fit and finish of it all. So interesting. We'll see if that happens to me. But like I said, I've had this for about 24 hours. I've printed a handful of things on it, and it's been so far so good. So we'll see what happens in the upcoming weeks. But yeah, so you bowed out of their Kickstarter. Nice to see that they're coming out and curious how things are going. Yeah, definitely. One thing that you definitely also should know is that this was delivered from Amazon. So even though SaneSmart sells it on their website, when they sent this to me, it was sent through Amazon because you can purchase this on Amazon right now. In fact, let me see if I can do this real quick. So there we go. So this is where you can buy it on Amazon currently for $749 from Amazon. And it is shipped from Amazon and sold by SaneSmart. So that's where it came from on my end. But at the same time, you can also buy this directly from SaneSmart here, because you don't buy it directly from WonderMaker, but on SaneSmart's website, see that is $639 with free shipping if you live in the United States. So yeah, it's available. And, I don't know if regular people have been able to receive this printer, the people that actually backed it on Kickstarter. I think it's real messed up if they're still waiting on theirs when you can purchase this on Amazon. So I hope that's not the case. But, I'm just kind of starting with the whole history of this. I had absolutely no idea it was so much like controversy and stuff behind it. So let's see what else you got. You bought a SaneSmart Arduino kit for Christmas a few years back. And it's a weird 85X. That's one of the first things that I said when I got this printer was that it does look just like an 85X, just bigger. You cannot see the 85X in the shot, but it is just right down there. But it looks very similar, even from like the badging, the placement of the name right here, and the name of the company down below, the black open frame. But the 85X does have a solid back to it, whereas this printer does not have a solid back to it. It's completely open in the back, and it lets you see the wide poop chute that it has. But there's also an enclosure for this as well. I think it's like $150 or something. And unlike the 85X, you don't have to print anything for the enclosure. Like the kit is the kit. It just has panels for all the sides. And then it has this big dome piece like all of these multicolor printers with this side mounted solution have. It lacks that whole customization feature, but you also don't have to worry about printing your own parts and some things not coming together as well as you would expect them to, and then things just getting kind of wonky in the end. So they got an enclosure kit for this. It reminds me of the Creality K1 SE, and it also has an enclosure kit that does the exact same thing. You don't print anything. They just give you the panels and you just slap it on with some screws. I kind of like that, unless you just want things to be customizable for you. Let's see here. Not too long ago, that would have been a great price for a Core XY printer, let alone for a color changer. Yep, back in the day. And this happened with the Cheaty color box. You can get it from West 3D before the pre-sale people got it. Yeah, that is pretty messed up. Yeah. And that is one of the things about this printer that I feel definitely would hold it back. Well, there's a couple of things I think that would hold it back, even before, testing it extensively, is the price for one. Even at $630, I wouldn't say that that's like super expensive considering the 300 millimeter cubed bed size that this has. But right now, especially during some of these Black Friday sales, when you can get things like the P1S from Bamboo Lab combo, and you can get that for less than what this would sell for on Amazon. And you can get some other printers that also have the multicolor filament systems, either ones from like Anycubic or whatever. You can get those that have been out for longer. They've got more support. You have more of an idea of what the printer is going to be like once you've used it over a certain period of time. And you can get those for less than you can with this. So that automatically holds it back. And then the other thing that holds it back is that it's the single nozzle filament changer. Now there's another model called the ZR Ultra that's supposed to be coming out, and that one is a tool changer. And I think that one is what most people are most interested in, because I think that we're nearing the back end of the most vocal people in the community wanting a single nozzle multicolor printer, and they want to move on to tool changers and hot end swaps or whatever it is that a company is going to do to eliminate as much of that purge waste as possible. So, this sort of reminds me of what Elegoo did with the Neptune 4 series. When that one came out, we were just starting to get into the wave of Core XY machines that do automatic everything. And then the Neptune 4s still had the wheels under the bed that you still had to use to like set your Z offset and all that stuff. And then once you get behind, it's hard to catch up, and they still haven't caught up. And when they do catch up, then people would have moved on to tool heads, changing tool heads by then. So yeah, the biggest thing that this printer has going for it is the size of the build plate and the fact that it's open. It runs Clipper, and you can access it either through your web browser or through Orca Slicer. And that's something that I think the 85X, it's sort of like what the 85X should have been in a lot of people's eyes. It's bigger, and then you can access Clipper. And if you could have done that without modding the 85X, you made it bigger, it would pretty much be this printer here. Let's see. Look what's going on with the Frozen Acro. Yeah, I've been trying to keep up with the Frozen Acro, and that also seems like a printer that, when it was announced, it was definitely good for the time, but it's been so long that by the time people got their hands on it, it's not really viable right now at this point. And you don't really see much reviews on it from the usual suspects. I don't think that they're bringing it out or whatever. All right. So I'm going to continue to monitor these comments, but I'm just going to talk a little bit more about this printer. Let's check out like some specifications for it in case you're not familiar with it. I'm just going to go right back to this page here on Sane Smart so you can see what the printer can do. I already told you the build size with the 300 millimeters cubed. But another cool thing about it is that it does have a hardened steel nozzle, and I also believe it hardened steel extruder gears as well already built in. So it comes with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, and they are hardened. Goes up to 300 degrees Celsius on the hot end, 100 degrees Celsius here on the bed. And it has these two modules on the side. This one that you can see on the screen here that's highlighted in red, that is the filament module. But then there's another module beneath that, and it's called the filament separator. And I looked at a video where someone was looking at this and they took that apart and they said that the filament separator has runout sensors inside of it. So that's definitely different, that it has these two mechanisms to use to run the filament through as opposed to one. Automatic everything like you would expect these days. 300 millimeters a second max print speed, 600 millimeters a second max travel speed, 20,000 millimeters per second squared acceleration speed, and a max flow of 32 millimeters cubed per second. Not anything groundbreaking there, but at the same time, it's not like it's like super behind anything as well. Let's see what else we got here. It does have a nozzle wiper in the back, and it actually uses that nozzle wiper all the time, unlike the 85X, which, you know, I admit I have not upgraded to the latest version, but the version that I am on, it does not use that wiper as much as I think that it should. The filament detection, we already talked about, all metal frame here. There's that filament separator, this one at the bottom where these tubes go into. It's got this auxiliary fan hanging out on the side of it that I had to enable in the settings because by default it was disabled, and it also has a light. It's a small light, but it's right in front of the bed. It's enough for you to illuminate so you can see what you're doing, but it doesn't illuminate the entire internal part of it. And then it's just some videos from some of the other creators. And you would just be using it like you would any other printer that is not enclosed. Use it with your PLAs and your PETGs and your TPUs, unless you get an enclosure, and then you can use the other stuff along with it. One other thing that I saw in some of the videos that I watched were people said that it came with a built-in camera. This one does not come with the built-in camera, the one that was shipped from Amazon, and it has this little cable right here that I'm assuming is for the camera module, and it's just kind of hanging right there because it did not come with the camera, and I made sure I checked everything and I didn't see anything in the box for a camera. And I'm not too sure where you can buy it either, because I went on SaneSmart's website, and last time I looked, I did not see a page that had different nozzles to choose from or camera accessories or any replaceable parts. Not just yet. Nice, you're live. You're printing on your 85X right now. Awesome. The more I use this, the more I love it. I feel bad I haven't turned on my 5M Pro. Hey, do not worry about that. My 5M Pro is right over here, sitting right next to the original 5M. I still use the 5M Pro if I am trying to print like multiple things at one time. But other than that, I just stick to the 85X. Usually gets the job done. Will that do multicolored TPU? They did not say that it does multicolored TPU. They didn't advertise that. There is like a support guide that I was looking at, and it has a chapter in there about printing TPU, but there's no information in there to tell you how to print TPU. So I'm not sure if you can run TPU through this or if you would have to remove this 4-in-1 connector thingy in order to put the TPU in there directly. But they have not said whether or not you can do that definitively, or at least they haven't shown how, I should say. They haven't shown how you can do that definitively. All right. I'm just double checking the stream here. For some reason, it looked like it had fell behind, so I thought things were messed up. But anyway, I'm going to see if I can spin this around a little bit so that you can see the side, because you're kind of just seeing it from like head on. They got these openings down here at the bottom to make it easier for you to lift, so that's nice to see. But let's just... It's not exactly light. All right, so that's the side of it, where you can see the filament separator down at the bottom and then the filament module at the top. The PTFE tubes that come with this, you do have to put them in a somewhat specific way, because here at the top, and there's another thing I do like about this printer, they're really deliberate in the instructions and where everything goes and how you're supposed to set everything up. They got all these little notes all around it, so you can't really stray. Like, for example, on the side of this filament module, it says insert cable till the white line is hidden, because there's a white line on that cable, and you can push it in thinking that it's all the way in there, but you have to push it beyond that white line for it to be connected the way that it should. Over here on this tag, it says insert extruder cable into the filament buckle. It has these arrows for the bed screws that you have to take out when you want to set it up. So it's there for shipping. There's also, I can probably see it from the other side. I'm just going to move over. There's some other stickers, like right here. It tells you where the air filter mounts go. The assembly holes are right there. It tells you that this is the filament module. It tells you down here, this is the separator. It tells you the positioning of each of the filament spools. And then on the accessory bags that comes with it, they're clearly labeled. So like for the screws, it has a little red tag on it that tells you these are the screws that you use for the spool holders. And these are the screws that you use for the filament module. These are the screws that you use. It reminds me of what Bamboo Lab does with theirs. So as far as the setup process goes, they made it very easy just by communicating and giving you a lot more information. And in this startup guide here, it even tells you that you need to put the shortest filament tubes need to go into slots 1 and 3 on the filament module, and then the other tubes go in the other positions, because if you don't do that, things can get a little bit wonky, I guess. So they tell you exactly where it's supposed to go. These filament tubes right here, oh, the magnet has grabbed the side. It is a metal frame, and it just grabbed my magnet. Hang on. All right. It does tell you that these tubes here, they're longer and they go in the front, so they kind of have like this sort of curve going on with them. And then the ones in the back are just going straight up. You notice that the filament is just sitting on a spool holder, so no filament rewinding. Yeah, that's absolutely true. These are static spool holders. And when I was looking through the Facebook page for this printer, I did see that they were working on a new type of filament holder, one that does retract, kind of like spring loaded. So I don't know what they're going to do with that, if they're going to send those out to people who supported it or purchased it, kind of like what FlashForge did when they decided to redo their filament spool holders. But that is something that I saw. And the downside of having something that doesn't, spring back like that is people have said that when the filament retracts, and I think this is, probably a bigger problem if you have a full spool, it retracts so much that the filament could go behind the actual spool. So naturally, when you try to use it again, it's going to bind, it's going to get caught, and then that can lead to some failed prints. That hasn't happened to me in the handful of prints that I've done, because a lot of filament rolls that I have, they are not completely full, but I can definitely see where that can be an issue. All right, let me straighten this back out. Yeah. Before I start up an actual print, I do want to show you some things that I have already printed on this. So the first thing that I printed was this came with the printer. This is like the first thing that they said, hey, do you want to do a test print? And I'm like, okay, sure. So the first thing was this. Probably can't even really barely see that there. And I'm not sure what this is. I don't know if it's like a bookmark or something. And it said that it was going to be single color. But when it finished printing, it did it in two colors. And just by looking at it, I mean, it doesn't look horrible, but I did have some matte filament in there, and that's the filament that I decided to put on top of this non-matte black filament. So that's why I think it doesn't look as filled in as it could, but it's not horrible. But yeah, this was the first test print thing. All right, so real small, get that out of the way. Second thing that I printed was this tolerance test directly from Orca Slicer. And on here, you can't see it. It's black and it's way too close. But I will tell you that for this tolerance test from Orca Slicer, it's got all of these different holes of different sizes, and then it has this little peg. And the whole thing is to see how many of these holes you can put the peg through. It clears 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, and 0.1 easily by the peg just falling right through the hole. But when you get to 0.5, it can go into the hole, but it will not fall through. And you can use a little bit of pressure to just get it to sit flush in there, but it doesn't just fall through. And then naturally, once you get to 0, that's when it gets stuck. And if you want to put it in there, then you really have to use some force. So that was the tolerance test results from this. And when I wanted to do something that was, took advantage of all four multicolor things, so I decided to make this Hue Forge print right here. So let's take a look at this Hue Forge thing. This is from the video game Mega Bonk. You kind of see that here. There we go. So 4 colors, a Hue Forge. That's the front. Here is the back. I think it did a great job on this. I think that looks good. Nice and solid. In the back, it's just this back is super smooth. It's very nice and smooth. I like it. All right, so that's for old Mega Bonk. And then the last things that I tried to print on here, I'm printing this Proto Man figure. It's going to be 12 inches tall. It's a video game character from Mega Man. So I just started to print out just a few pieces from this. And I printed this from PETG. So I did use Polymaker's new high flow PETG on this. And I think that this turned out looking pretty good too. I haven't had any problems with it as far as I haven't had any failures or anything like that. And then these also have little, it has these little pegs that you have to put into them so that you can connect the other pieces, and they're going in there just absolutely fine. So this is just the top portion of them, and this is going to be one of the little bottom parts of it. And it looks fine. It looks fine. So no big problems with that so far. The accessories that they give with this printer, I don't know why companies keep doing this. It's not really super useful. They give you these 4 little sample filament things, and of course they can easily just get tangled up and bind it up or whatever, but they do give it to you, so that's a good thing, I guess. You get some Allen keys in here. You get some spare parts. You get a replacement nozzle wiper. You get a declogging tool, a metal scraper, which I absolutely never use for these FDM printers, a glue stick, and a USB stick as well. I haven't seen what's on the USB stick. My guess is probably going to be either some profiles or maybe even downloads for the slicer. I know that they do have a third-party slicer. It's called WonderMaker Orca or Wonder Orca or Orca Wonder or something like that. I haven't downloaded it. I've just been using regular Orca Slicer. Let's see. It has two spools per holder. Two spools. Yeah, it does have two spools per holder. It's a bit odd. So these spools, the two are being separated by this. I'm not sure what you call it, but it raises up in the middle of the spool to keep the spools from touching each other. But you do have to put two spools on each spool holder. And that can be a little odd for when you want to change, say, like the filament that's on the inside here. In order to do that, you do have to take off the outer spool in order to take off the inner spool. You don't have to like pull the filament out. As you can see, you can just take this off like here, and then you can just remove it just like that. So it's not a huge deal, to be honest, but it is different, because we're used to each spool having its own dedicated spool holder. So yeah, that's just a little bit of an odd thing that they've done. But since I was doing comparison between this and the 85X, one good thing, I guess, is because these spools are at the bottom, they don't come into contact with the filament module. And one potential issue for the 85X on some spools, like some cardboard spools, is that if you have them in the top position closest to the filament module or the IFS, it can touch the IFS as it's turning. So that could make the spool get stuck. It could bind. It could cause some under extrusion or even potentially some air printing, especially if that cardboard spool gets grounded down at a certain point, and then it becomes like a little gap in it. So now it won't turn at all. But with this, these spools don't come anywhere near the filament separator and definitely not anywhere near the filament module. So they're not going to get caught up on that. So that is a good thing. It also has this heat bed cable that's just kind of floating in the air. That is a bit weird. I don't know if that is or could be a potential issue or anything like that, but that's something that I'm just not very familiar with. Usually the heat bed cables on these Core XY printers, you don't just see them like that, but it's on this one, and it's a little tag on it that warns against excessive bending and dragging. So there's that. Wonder if you can use custom spool holders. I don't see why you couldn't use custom spool holders because there's nothing special about them. They don't have any kind of like mechanism on the inside of them. There's no electronics or anything like that. They're just regular old spool holders. I'm gonna redo this mic. All right, so let's say we just get a print started. You can see it print in real time. I've put up a few different options for prints that we can check out. I tried to do things that won't take too long to print. So what we could do, a regular old one color benchy, if you want to see a benchy. And then I also have like these Christmas ornaments. They're multicolored for like Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. And there's one for Raccoon Mario from Super Mario Brothers 3. And that one is also a multicolor print. So which one would you like to see printed on this? And we can see what happens in real time and see if it actually is successful or not. How's the retraction on the spool holders? I haven't had an issue with the filament going behind the spool holders when it retracted. But then again, these spools are not very full. So if they were like really full, I can see it having a greater chance of going behind itself. But in these spools that I have here that at most are halfway empty, nothing has happened so far. But I know some people have had issues with it, so I'm sure that is an issue that exists, and that's why that they are changing the design of the spool holders to have one that does spring. So just right now, it just hasn't been a problem. But then again, I only had this for 24 hours, so there's plenty of time for things to go sideways. Plenty of time. So I'll tell you what, I am going to see which one of these is going to take the longest amount of time. Let's take a look at this Raccoon Mario here. It says it's going to take like 21 minutes. Why not? So when you start up a print, let me see if I can kind of get a little bit closer on this so that you can see the screen as best you can. I'm going to have to move the camera up a little bit. I wish I could get to the point where I got like multiple cameras and I can just push a button and just switch scenes and everything is perfect. All right. So yeah, you can kind of see that. So when you go to start a multicolor print, it tells you to choose the filament color according to the model color. Hit OK. And then you just have to select what colors that you have. So these are ones that I already have queued up. So I got black PLA. I'm going to use white PLA for what should be pink. And then for red, I am just going to pick red, just like that. I'm going to have the leveling going because I always level the bed, and then just hit print and away we go. Also be able to see, like how loud this thing can get. So it's using the nozzle wiper before it does anything else. That is good. How does the UI interface on the screen? Does it make sense? How's the touch feel? I like this interface. I like this user interface better than what FlashForce does on the 85X. The screen looks a little bit washed out, not a huge deal. And the touch feel of it is also pretty good. This is not a resistive touch screen. It is capacitive. So you can like go into different settings, like right here, you can go to general, it feels good. It feels like a very good screen. I like this screen. Let's see, I have an 85X and I use 4 WonderMaker poly dryer containers. I don't think the filament can come off the roll in those. Yeah, that is one thing I would like to try with this. I've got some filament dryers, so I want to see if I can run filament from the filament dryers through the filament separator and through the filament module and see what happens. Because I do that with the 85X if I'm printing like TPU, and it's never been a problem with the 85X. You should be able to just reduce the retraction amount on color change so it doesn't send the filament back far enough to tangle on the spool. I would assume that as well, but since they're deciding to do a complete hardware revision as opposed to just telling people, hey, just change this setting and everything will be fine, it makes me feel like there's a bigger issue at hand there. But if that does become a problem for me, then I would definitely do that. And I think that should also be communicated inside of that Facebook forum. Because I feel like a lot of people are, I don't say a lot of people, but the people who back this and haven't gotten it yet, or, they're just kind of waiting to see how things go. When they see like all of the negative reactions that people have been getting, it instills like a lot of fear. Like, oh my God, they've completely ruined it. They completely botched it. So, I think the sharing those kinds of solutions and even like live streams like this, so you can see things happen in real time, could, maybe help people feel better about their purchase if this turns out to work out pretty good, or it can confirm their fears if things completely go sideways. Doesn't really matter to me much which one happens. I just care about seeing what actually happens in real time. We got our first poop. First poop right out of the back. I don't have anything set up to catch the poop besides me just picking it up. So it is what it is. Is that close enough for you guys, or do you need it to be any closer? I can probably make this a little closer. Let's see. Let's make this full screen. I won't be able to see too much, but maybe that's good enough. You gotta love the smell of filament. That way you can see the whole process. Yep, that is my intention. I want you to see the whole thing. In fact, let me move this. Oh, God. I'm sorry. Move this up. About right there. I'm trying not to screw around with this too much. All right, I'm going to leave it like this. All right, so now it's doing leveling. And this print is going to take like 20 minutes or so. I'm not sure if the 21 minutes includes the leveling procedure and everything, or if it's just for the actual print. I would assume it's like everything, but whatever, we'll see. I hope everybody is doing good on this Saturday afternoon. It is absolutely gorgeous outside where I am in Georgia, like 73 degrees, got a bit of a breeze going on. It's the perfect weather for me. And that is great because it actually snowed last week. So that is, that's something. You got snow one week, 73 degrees the next week. Yep, still doing all right. Here we go. Got that purge line going. I hope I got the colors right for this model here, but we will see. I wish I can give you guys like a top-down look, but I can't. So I'm just going to describe it. These initial layers here, they are very, very small, like geometric shapes, because this is like a pixel Mario from Super Mario Brothers 3. So everything is just going to be made up of like these little small, tiny squares. I think that's a good thing to kind of check for the accuracy of this printer and seeing that if it's capable of getting those really, really small details. I did not clean the plate. I don't think I need to. I haven't really been touching it all that much. I have not used any glue or anything like that. And we are off to our very first filament change. My wife is looking at my stream and she said that it's Sunday, not Saturday. I thought I said Sunday afternoon, but if I did say Saturday, I'm sorry. It is Sunday. It is not Saturday. So now that I know she's looking at the stream, I am now self-conscious. So thank you. You've ruined the stream. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. The price on this printer, it kind of depends on where you get it from. If you get it directly from Sains Smart, I guess that's like the official retailer for this. They are charging $639 for this printer. It's also available on Amazon for a more expensive price, also sold by Sains Smart and shipped from Amazon. And from there, it's $749. So quite a difference there. So that is pretty expensive. Well, I don't want to say like it's super expensive considering the size and what you get, but just in comparison to some other printers that you can get right now, like the P1S with the combo. The P1S combo, I think it's even cheaper than that. Let me see, P1S combo. Yeah, you can get the P1S combo right now for $549 directly from Bamboo Lab. So when you got something like that and it's fully enclosed, and yeah, it doesn't have as good of a screen, not nearly as good of a screen, but you do have the support, you've got the spare parts, you've got the experience that a lot of people have had with it. You know what you're getting. If you care about the ecosystem, you've got the ecosystem. So that more makes it a harder sell, especially from Amazon for over $700. And we are off to our second filament change. I'm not sure if I said it before, but I think Orca Slicer said that it was going to be 7 filament changes. And see that it's still doing its purge tower as well. But so far, it looks fine. I can see it side by side with the 85X and run the same print. Now, I'm going to try to do that like in a future video, get both of these on this table. It's certainly big enough, and we'll run a print, see how it turns out. I backed the ZR Ultra and Ultra S. I've talked to the founder, Zhou Shu. She is committed to making these printers successful. The amount of drama and panic in the Facebook group is ridiculous and unnecessary. You know, I hope the best for all these companies. I don't have anything against anybody. You know, I'm not going to wish bad fortune or lack of success on any company. But I think the best thing that you can do in situations where you have a brand new product, if you're a new company, or if you put it up on Kickstarter like they did, the best thing that you can do is communicate. I'm not really following along with the drama, so I don't know how good or bad they've been as far as communication goes. But that goes a long way, informing people of timelines, what happened. If something's messed up, tell people that it's messed up. Even if you have to delay, do not put out something that folks are going to get angry about and going to have to send back to you anyway because it's faulty. Take the time that you need, but be honest, be straightforward. And at least to me, it seems like there's 3 printers. It's this one, you got the Ultra, and then you have the S model that's like the enclosed model. So they've taken on a lot at one time. It probably would have been better to just kind of focus on one particular model. Probably the Ultra, since that one is the tool changer, and it just kind of reduces the amount of potential issues that you would have. But I hope the best for them. I hope the best. And I do know that, sometimes in the 3D printing community, things can really blow up and get a little bit out of hand. I'm not saying that's what happened in this case, but I know it's possible. Oh, that fan is kicking on now. Can you hear it? Oh, it's getting good and loud. Man, I wish I could show you guys what this looks like. I might be able. Can I? I'm going to try. I hope I don't disconnect something, but here we go. Can you guys see that? I know that I had the zoom on in the stream, so I don't know. I'm trying to do this backwards. Where is it? There it is. All right, you can kind of peep it right there. That's how it looks so far. All right, let me take this back to the tripod. Yeah, this is why I didn't want to move anything. There we go. And refocus. All right. These look a little bit different now, and I'm going to have to arrange everything back. How's this looking? move it back here. There we go. All right, back to the full zoomed in. Boom. All right. This printer is just so for me, a little late to the game and not doing anything that every other printer can do and does do now. Nothing exciting for this price. It's passed for me. I completely understand that. It does not do anything particularly, well, it doesn't do anything innovative or special. And that's not a bad thing because not every printer has to change the game. But we are in that phase right now where the game changing printers are happening right now. And if this had come out, say, at least 6 months ago, let's say even like 9 months ago, and everything worked out fine, I think that this could have overtaken the 85X, because I do think that this is the printer that the 85X could have been, and the printer that people who have the 85X would have preferred. But it is late in the game. So it probably won't get the amount of sales that it could have gotten, just like the Frozen Arco. I was in a Facebook group and there were certain supporters that were relentless in pushing this printer. Well, that's probably because they paid for it, you know? It reminds me like the console wars with video games. If you can only had one and it was either an Xbox or a PlayStation, some people on either side would be super defensive no matter what, because that's what they bought and they have to justify their purchase because it's not cheap. Several $100 for these printers. Most people don't have like a ton of money to just be throwing out to buy printers. So the one that you do get, you want it to be the one. You want your purchase to be justified. And some people take it a little bit too far. I think you just got to be honest. If it's great, it's great. If it's not so good, it's not so good. But it's a Kickstarter project. And you always have to remember that when you back something on Kickstarter, you are backing an idea. And in a lot of cases, not a full, mature product. That there's a chance that if you back something on Kickstarter, you may not get it and you'll be upset about it. But Kickstarter is not a store. Even though a lot of companies treat it like a store, it's not meant to be a store. So you have to be very careful in knowing that you either may not get anything or you may be underwhelmed with what you do get, or you may be super happy with what you get. It is look at all this poop on the floor. It is a calculated risk. All right, still going. It's not looking pretty good so far. The build size on this is 300 millimeters cubed. So bigger than average. For most 3D printers that don't have like a plus or max in its name. So I'm definitely going to try to print like some full size like helmets on this thing. And I'm working on this 12-inch Proto Man figure that I have to put together. I need some more red filament though. Established companies that use Kickstarter are always suspect to me. I'm not a big fan of that either. Or established companies that use Kickstarter. Really, no matter what industry, whether it's this industry or I was like big on collecting like action figures and stuff. And whenever I saw like McFarlane Toys doing a Kickstarter, I was like, why? This is McFarlane Toys. This is Todd McFarlane. This company has a ton of money, a ton of resources, a ton of connections. They don't need people to back that. Or like Hasbro Pulse. when they, want to do something special and then they put it up on their crowdfunding campaign. I'm like, if all companies, Hasbro does not need to be crowdfunded to do anything. But people back it and it's guaranteed money. Nearly $1,000 Canadian. Man, that is a lot. And seeing the value in Canadian dollars for anything has always scared me. That is expensive. But even here, it's that price right now. But you never know with the way that things are going, whether or not this price will stay that way, or if tariffs, I don't know. No one knows. Let's see how much time. Actually, I have Orca Slicer. I'm going to connect this to Orca Slicer. I don't think I've done that because I just installed Orca Slicer on this computer. So let me. Ooh, I didn't even have the right bed set up. I had this set at a smooth high temp plate and not a PEI plate. Whoopsie. Put in the IP address. Test. All right. Let's see if I can share this screen with you guys. Let's see if I can do that real quick. Uno momento. So let's do a. Let's see. Display capture. Maybe display capture, maybe. I don't know. Select the source. Orca Slicer. Boom, there it is. Haha. Yeah, so that's the fluid interface in Clipper that you can access either through Orca Slicer or you can access it through your web browser. You just have to type in the IP address for your printer that you will get once you connect it to your network. And then from here, you can do all the clippery stuff and modifications and tweaking and all that good stuff to your heart's desire. And this is also where you would look at the camera if I had a camera connected. Have to remember that Canadian Australian dollar exchange rate is horrible compared to the dollar or euro. For now. For now. Yes, it is running Clipper. They said it was open. I don't know, if it's completely open. I'm not sure, but that's what they say. And you got your fluid access right there. All right, let me take this down. What's going on? Things are flipping out over here. Why is this still here? All right, hang on. There we go. I'm learning in real time. I'm looking forward to the tool changers as well. Hey, I should be getting the SnapMaker U1. That should be coming here before the end of the month. I'm hoping. That's what I'm told. But we'll see. Because I'm really looking forward to trying that. I am excited. People have been super stoked about that printer. and I really would love to try it for myself. And then you got the H2C that I'm pretty sure our favorite reviewers have already had that printer and probably had it for close to a month now. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure. It's usually how it works with Bamboo Lab printers. So it'll be great to see how that Vortex system works. And we'll be able to see some comparisons between it and SnapMaker and Prusa XL. There's a new era of virtually waste-free 3D printing, with the exception of like purge towers. Yeah, there's two versions of this. I hear that WonderMaker is supposed to be at Form Next. It's a 3D printing convention, and if they show up there, hopefully they'll have the ZR Ultra to show off. And they need to do a lot of coverage on it, do some recordings, upload it to the Facebook group or their YouTube page, or just try to get in touch with any of the content creators that might be going there, just to show them what that printer can do and try to restore some goodwill with their community. See how much time we got left on this bad boy. Not much. A minute? Not a minute? Okay. It's 96% done according to Fluid. I'm looking at the spools here since we did do a few different filament changes to look at the retraction, and they're still well within the spool. But then again, these spools are not very they're not very full either. So, but I think that's it. It's doing its last cut, I'd imagine. Its last retraction. Yep, there it goes. The last clean. Okie dokie. All right. I know you're supposed to wait for it to cool down. But hey, we're supposed to do a lot of things, right? So let's just take this off now. Hey, it does have guides in the back for the plate so you don't misalign it. I'm going to take this off and see if I can show it to you guys. I'm going to leave this off. Let me change the view so I can get closer to the camera and I'll be able to focus it more accurately. So I'm going to go back to the regular full cam view. All right. All right, Mario. Oh boy, that's kind of dark. That's kind of dark. You can't see it all that good. All right, I'm going to bump up this exposure. You guys see that okay? I'm zooming in so that I can see. I think you can see that all right. Here's the back. A little streaky right there on the back. A little streaky. With the front, that's kind of out of focus. The front looks fine. It's not groundbreaking. It's not an embarrassment. It's clean on the front. This printed face down, so the details were on the plate. Let's see. I have the Prusa XL, and the absolute worst thing about It is Prusa Slicer. It's almost indecipherable after using Orca. I've never used Prusa Slicer before. Never, ever, ever. And again, I never tried a Prusa printer. I would love to, though. Is Orca able to see a Prusa XL and use the changers? Maybe, but there are too many options in Prusa. I can imagine they don't translate. Would love to try a Prusa printer. I do think that they are getting left behind, though. They've got a lot of goodwill, deserved goodwill, but it's really hard to justify some of those prices when the competition is so stiff these days, if nothing like really innovative is being done. All right, got the build plate on there. It tells you the print is completed, and please remove the model and keep the build plate clean. You can reprint if you want or not. All right, I want to show some of the settings inside the user interface. So we're going to zoom right back in. All right. I've got this Raise 3D printer like at my feet. I'm trying not to run into it. Let me move it out the way. Ugh. This thing is really heavy. All right. So this is the main screen. Very easy to understand. You want to print your files, you hit that, and then you go to your files that are local, already stored on here, and you can take a look at your print history. You change the bed temperature right here if you want. Change the nozzle temperature right here. Like I said, it comes with a hardened steel nozzle, 0.4 millimeters. Skip, pause, and stop. Here's the light button. You can turn on the light. And like I said, you can't really see it all that well. In fact, let me, I'm going to step in front of the camera. Bear with me so I can kill this light. And I'll kill this other light too. So now you'll be able to see basically what this would do in a pretty dark space. That's the light. Now, so it doesn't illuminate the entire bed, but it just kind of gives it almost like it's almost like mood lighting. It will help you to be able to see what you're printing once you walk in, but you know, it's not like it's all around, which would have been nice. All right, what else do we got here? Going back in front. All right, so this is for the fan. You can change the speed of the model fan or the auxiliary fan that's over there on the side. Oh, go back to the front. Here's the regular settings. Moving the print bed up, down. Move the bed up and down. Move the print head left to right in different increments. You know, we've seen this before. Here's the filament changing menu. You can tap on the color to choose the color that you have, or go back and change the filament. They have these presets for PLA, PLA Silk, ABS, PETG, PLA Matte, PLA Metal, ABS Matte, PETG Matte, PVA, TPE, Marble, HIPS, TPU, PET, Wood, and ASA. That is a lot of different filament types. And video is for the camera accessory. Then you got your Wi-Fi and general. I have not done any firmware updates because there hasn't been any updates available. See, I'm currently on the latest version, so I'm not sure how that compares to some of the other people that have had it. The nozzle type, it has 4 different types of nozzles, hardened nozzles from 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, and 0.8, and then stainless nozzles only in 0.2 and 0.4. And screen sleep, here's other functions. If you have an air filter, you can move it over to equipped. The auxiliary fan is unequipped, and then the camera is not equipped. log files, version update, got maintenance right here. You can do your calibrations for your bed leveling, vibration compensation, and nozzle temperature calibration. It asks you to do this at the very beginning when you're setting up the printer. And I've already done that, so I am not going to do it again, at least not all of them, but I still level after every print. And let's see, FAQ. I mean, look, they've got some basic FAQs in here too to answer some common questions. I mean, that's nice. So it's not all horrible. They've taken some care into the usability. Let's print something else. Let's go for, this is going to be a 33-minute benchy or 35. You know what? Christmas is coming up. Actually, no, I don't have, you know what? Yeah, I need to load some filament. We're going to do that because in order to print that Minnie Mouse, I need yellow. And this is actually good that this happened this way. All right, so let me go back out. Easy to add some more lights when it's open like that. Absolutely. Let's change some filament. I've got some that WonderMaker PETG in slot number 2. I don't want to use that anymore, so I'm going to take this out and I'm just going to roll it. I like to pull it and then roll it, kind of like simultaneously through the filament module and through the filament separator. One thing that I do like about this, do I have a filament clip somewhere? I thought I have a filament clip somewhere. Oh, well, I'll just put it through this hole. One thing I do like about this, and I know that it's not ideal for retraction, but when you have this filament holder, it allows you to use really small spools, like these little sample size spools that are like 250 grams on like the AMS or the AMS Lite, or even on the 85X with this spool holders, the newer ones, you can't fit these on there. But with this one, you absolutely can. Goes right on top. I like that variety. Now I got to stick this through here. Got to feel it first. Run it up. Keep it PG. And then once you kind of pass the threshold on the filament module, it detects it and then it pulls it up just like it's doing right now. Pulling, pulling, pulling. I hope that this doesn't get tangled, but we'll see. So now it's going, it's going. There's the yellow. Down, down, down. All the way down. And then it goes into the print head, stops, and then backs up. And now it's done. And then sometimes the tool head starts doing stuff. I'm not exactly sure why or what it's doing at this point. It doesn't hurt anything, but it just does something. And then the screen will tell you, hey, everything's all good now. It's a lot like your Adventure 5M. Yeah, it looks just like the Adventure 5M. It looks like its older brother. All right, so now that I got that filament loaded, I'm going to go to here. This is spot number 2. So I'm going to change this to PLA, and I'm going to change the color to yellow. Awesome. And you can load and unload from here as well. So I'm going to go to my Mini, or from my, did I pick Mickey or did I pick Minnie? Which one did I pick? This is going to be Mickey. Okay. All right, so black for the black, yellow for the yellow. I hope I have enough. And then red for the red. All right, let's go. Second multicolor print on this. I need to get a Christmas tree. And when I do, I'm going to put this ornament on it. All right, so we are running through the paces. All right, so while we kind of wait, let me see if there's anything around here I can show you guys. Possibly. I don't see anything. Oh well. We're just gonna hang back and see how this works out. Let me know if you got any questions about this printer. I will try my best to answer them as best I can. And I do want to show you guys this support page as soon as I can find it. Printer support for the, it's kind of hard to see this. Is this the one? Okay. All right, so this is the one of the support pages for the ZR series of printers. They are working on it. It is not finished yet, but here are some of the things that they got here. You got a basic overview. They have an unboxing guide with the corresponding YouTube video, all the stuff that comes with it. The instructions in the guide, I think, were very well done, easy to understand, nicely translated. Got a packaging tutorial, show you how to put it back in the box if that's what you want to do. There you go. Your first print, how to load the filament. I think I've pretty much shown you all of this stuff. And then this is from Orca Slicer. They do have their own Orca Slicer version that I have not tried yet. Wi-Fi stuff, using Orca Slicer. There's fluid with the camera. If you have the camera, don't know how to get it. And then they have how to upgrade your firmware, how to automatically switch materials for continuous printing, how to skip printing. So like if something were to, fail, you can do that. That's great because it's Clipper. And the TPU printing tutorial is not up. They do got some stuff for error codes. But I do wish the TPU printing tutorial were there. So they're trying. They are trying. All right, let's go back to the print. After this print is done, I think it'll be maybe a good time to wrap it up. Two reasonably sized multicolor prints for a live stream. But then after this, I do want to print some larger things to just sort of see if it still behaves itself as those layers start stacking up. All right, here we go. And so that is the purge tower. Just taking a look at it. Now, it looks clean for that first layer. All right, so this is going to be putting down some of the very first lines. So far, so good. Everything's sticking to the bed. I will say this: they had secured the build plate to the bed with a little bit of tape, and one of the pieces of tape, came off easily, but the other one was on there pretty good, and I had to kind of scrape it off myself, and it left a little bit of residue on the plate. I can still see it. It doesn't seem like it's affecting anything, but that is something that happened. What's the first helmet I'm going to print on it? I don't know. I am subscribed to some Patreon, so I'm going to see what happens from like Yosh Studios to see what they put up for the rest of this month. It's definitely going to be. I'm going to try to print it in as few pieces as I possibly can, but I am not sure. In fact, since I'm just sitting here, let me take a look at Patreon to see if I can get some ideas. All right, I have to sign in on here. I can't remember what account I'm using, but I'll see in a second. And then I'll bring it up on the screen and we can take a look. Okay. My goodness, I gotta sign in. Another account. Two-step verification. Okay. Yep, that's me. This first layer is looking pretty good, just so you know. I'm still trying to sign in on Patreon. It's taking a long time. What is going on here? Why does it look like this? Oh, come on now. You want to pop up? I think I'm about to sign out now. No! Please. That's a very nice first layer. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And I don't know if it's because I'm streaming from this PC or what, because it is taking forever to load. And of course, it signed me out. Great. All right, so now we got the speed going. It's getting serious. Look at this table. It is rocking it. How do you feel about the recent backlash Flash Forge is getting? Is it about that Second Amendment stuff? If that's what you're talking about, I don't know what I don't know why they made that kind of statement. It seemed like it kind of came out of nowhere, and it was really quite like serious sounding and a little threatening. It was very odd, and I'm not sure what if it was in response to anything. Um, I wouldn't have done that if I were running the company. I wouldn't do that because just basically because there's no real way for you to enforce anything like that. And it gave birth to some, well, conspiracies really, that Flash Forge is watching you, watching your prints and reporting you to Big Brother. And, I can understand why that would be someone's concern because they did threaten to get law enforcement involved if someone were engaging in 2A activities using their printers. But it wasn't a good move. Like I said, I don't know why they did it. I know that they came out with another statement trying to soften the blow a little bit, but it wasn't the right call. I don't think it was the right thing to do. I think you have to know your audience, and if you are speaking to American audiences, there's a lot of people here, they love their things. If it were like in response to like a recent tragedy or something like that, then I could understand a company wanting to come out and get ahead of things and say that we don't condone doing things like that with our machines. I could understand it then, but this just kind of came out of nowhere. And I don't think any printer company would even ever come out to say, like, oh, yeah, we totally support you creating firearms with our printers. I don't think no company is going to come out and say that. So, yeah, not the best move. Not the best move. I'm not heavy with the gun culture, but I personally would not want to try to do anything like that with a 3D printer. I would rather just purchase something traditionally just because of the safety issues involved with that. I would not want to use something that I print myself in that kind of capacity. It's too dangerous. Need those like certifications and tolerances and 100% safety. But that's just me. That what it was. They found some kid with, and he had flash for. Oh, is that what happened? Oh, okay. See, now it makes more sense. I didn't even know about that. Context is important. Maybe they should have referenced that and then came out with a statement. Just speaking about safety. Instead of just saying, hey, all of you don't do this or we might come get, well, we're not going to come get you, but we might report you. It was very heavy handed, very heavy handed. Not the best move. I don't know how people will remember this. I don't think that they will, but at least for right now, no sir, no sir, no ma'am. What was I doing? I was going to look at Patreon. There we go. It's still giving me these. Like, I don't know why it's not showing me. Is there something going on with Patreon right now? Like, it's not showing me all the things that I'm subscribed to. It's very weird. Oh well. Well, there it goes. Oh, printer, you're shaking my table. Ugh. Man, his table is a rocking. All right, fine. Since WonderMaker ZR Facebook, I guess I'll take a look at the WonderMaker ZR Facebook page, the launch group, and see what's the latest over there. Since my Patreon is, hey, look, that's me. Hold on. Someone got it right up there. Figure Feedback is doing a live video with the ZR right now if anyone is interested. Thank you, Kaylin Patterson. Awesome. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh yeah, like it's some emotions are running high over here. This person says they're no longer interested in the printer. The project has potential, but seeing all the drama and progress of this printer, I've chosen to buy the SnapMaker U1 or the new H2C coming out on the 18th. WonderMaker has failed to provide any real progress on this machine, has yet to post a real-time lapse from inside the machine. Well, let's be honest here, it was beat to the punch by other manufacturers. I have to be honest here, I have 100% confidence in the Bamboo, so likely will fork out the extra money and save myself in the long run. Remember, you get what you pay for, and this WonderMaker machine seems to be living up to that reputation of cheap price, cheap product. Woo, those are some strong words. I tell you what. Stop the panic. What WonderMaker's external testers quitting really means. That is a lot of text right there. I'll just read a little bit of it. It says, for months, everyone was pushing the team to release the printers as fast as possible and questioning the intentions of WonderMaker. The majority didn't seem to understand that this is a startup creating a machine from the ground up, and this naturally takes more time than it would for an established company like SnapMaker. So what happened apparently is that the company felt the pressure and took some shortcuts to deliver the first version of the machine almost on time. That is not a good thing. We should never, ever do that. This led to the beta testing team feeling unheard, even though, as other statements prove, WonderMaker genuinely tried to listen to them. They even had new parts ready to take to Germany for the European testers. I did see that post. Now, the testers quit while it was night in China, which seems a little rude in my opinion. They could have sat around the table with WonderMaker in Germany, and says that the beta team doesn't seem to understand the message and doesn't feel the need to open a real conversation. Okay, so this person is just kind of on the more supportive side of SnapMaker at the moment. Hey, Kaylin Patterson, I just brought back the chat. There you are. Thank you. Wow, rare to see this machine actually working in real time, too. Do you think printers should be allowed to move freely, like when you use a hula feet, or should they be more solidly mounted? You know, when the H2D came out, it moves a lot on its feet, but apparently that is what they want it to do because I don't know the technical reason behind it. I think that if it's designed to take advantage of that extra movement in the feet, I don't mind it moving, just as long as it doesn't knock itself over. You know, it doesn't matter to me one way or another. If it prints fine, that's all I care about. It can be a hula hoop if it wants to. No. Hopefully your Z Ultra S comes working. I hope it does too. You can't ask for anything in a Facebook group without someone jumping all over you. That is no good. You need to be nicer to each other. On top of this printer question, do you have done any mods for the 85X? You did the radiator fan mod. It's night and day. I'm super quiet. Working on the recirculation duct blower for the enclosure. That is some fancy stuff. No, I haven't done any mods for the 85X. I've just been happy with the way it is. And I don't think I'm going to do the enclosure either. I don't need an enclosure for it. I have other printers that I could do. Like I don't even really do like ABS or ASA. I just don't. But if I wanted to, I have other printers for that. I just don't want the extra bulk and stuff. I have very limited space in here. It makes me wonder if the hardcore backwards aren't part of the company. You never know. That would be the definition of Shill. A lot of people use shill and don't use it properly, but that would be the proper definition. But I do want to say one thing just in regards to like the beta testing. I think it's pretty important. It goes for people who are going to beta test and also for folks who do YouTube stuff like I do. And that is, if you are going to dedicate a lot of your time and energy and effort into beta testing a machine to the point where you're going to spend hours and hours troubleshooting and documenting and providing feedback and going into meetings and doing all of this stuff, if you are going to be doing that, it is my opinion that you need to be paid. You need to be paid to do that, because the most valuable thing that you have is time, and the amount of time that you're spending on trying to make a product work better for a company that you don't have any equity in is the time that you could have been spending doing something else, maybe with your family, maybe with your kids, maybe on a project that you want to work for, and you're giving up that time for the benefit of someone else without getting anything else in return. And you see how sour things went with them when they left this project and they really don't have anything to show for it, either in finances or in this case, not even goodwill. If you are going to be a tester for something, I think no matter what you're doing, once you pass a certain threshold of your effort, you need to be compensated for it. And if a company is not willing to pay you for your time and your effort to make their product better, then walk away. They can have their own team that they're actually paying do stuff like that. All right. So just mind your time. And that also goes for like content creators. Like when we do review videos and stuff, sometimes things don't go the way that they're supposed to go. And we will try to take some effort to mitigate some things that aren't working properly. But I think that there is a threshold that you should not go beyond, because when it gets to a point where you put in a reasonable amount of effort and things still aren't working right, I think it's appropriate at that point just to go, hey, your stuff's not working the way that it should be working. I don't have time to keep putting into this. No, I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm not being paid to be a beta tester. So I either am not going to follow through with this commitment, or I will follow through with this commitment, but just know that I'm going to trash it. Or you can ask for it back. I'll send it back to you. If you want to send me a new one that's, better tuned or whatever, if this was a mechanical failure, that's also totally fine. If you put some reasonable effort into it and still acting up, then you got to just stop it right there. That's what I think. If you're going to be a beta tester, you need to be paid for it. Any VFAs? I haven't really printed things that are like big enough for me to really be able to see the VFAs. And I also need to look at that video about VFAs. As I'm looking at this PETG print from this Proto Man that I'm looking at or looking to make, I'll show it to you. I'll show you on camera. I think there's some here. You get it in the right light. Let's see. Let's see if I can zoom that in. Maybe if you get it in the right light, can you kind of see? You turn it around. Might be able to see it better on the back. This has been with no tweaks, no modifications of any settings at all. When I get these printers, I just want to run them straight out of the box. I ran it with a generic high-speed PETG profile. Didn't change anything. I'm going to see what it's like just straight out of the box without any crazy tinkering. I like to think that people these days understand maybe some tinkering might be necessary, but for the most part, you shouldn't have to. So let you see how well it performs out of the box using some basic profiles to see how it stands up. So looking at this Mickey Mouse, it looks fine so far. We still got some time. With being in video game QA for almost 4 years, I can say QA is a must for feedback and quality control. If the client won't pay attention in QA, it all goes downhill. Yeah, I would agree with that. QA is very extremely important, you know, because sometimes you need that third eye to catch things that you normally wouldn't catch. You know, you see the same thing all the time. Your brain overlooks things that, you know, fresh eyes would not overlook. You know, my whole point is if you're going to be putting in that kind of time and effort, then the company needs to pay you for that time and effort, because in the end, when things go sideways like this, you have nothing to show for all the effort that you put in. You're just bitter. You got no money. You got no goodwill. You have nothing. You have to come back with something because you gave them a lot of good feedback to make their product better. You help them, you should get something too. You know, it's a two-way street. We're doing some more purging. Oh, that is a big tower of purge. It looks orange right now because we are, I guess, going to white and we are moving away from the red. So it is doing all it can to get to that white. Whoa. At least I think it's going to, no, it's moving to the yellow, I think. It's moving to the yellow. Hey. So far, the poop chute has not clogged. Everything has fallen freely. We're doing some more purging. Yeah, it's going for the yellow right now. It's going for the yellow poop. Any gantry wobble like in the Facebook post, or is it just that one machine? I haven't noticed any wobble. I didn't notice any wobbling. Not on this one. This thing has been pretty solid. I want to see over time how well you know, these screws are going to hold up for this filament separator in the filament module. Because I can't remember if those screws had any, what do you call that stuff? The blue stuff that's at the end of the screws. I can't think of the name right now. I can't remember if it had that stuff or not. I want to say it did, but I can't remember. But the bed screws certainly did not. Hey, thank you, Ash. Thank you for the two, what are those, euros? Loctite. Yeah, that's the name, Loctite. Yeah, the bed screws didn't have any Loctite on it, and I can't remember if the screws for these other components had Loctite on them. I feel like they did. I'm almost sure that they did. And the way that this thing is moving, it reminds me of the 85X or the Adventurer 5M, just kind of like the sounds that it's making. Looking at this right now, we'll wait until it's all done, but I'm not going to pass judgment until it's done. I remember when I did a live stream of the 85X, I was printing out something, and I was like, I don't know, this doesn't look too good. But then someone told me, oh, you know, you just got to wait until it finishes. And it finished, and it ended up looking pretty good. So, Great British pounds. Oh, okay, British pounds. I said euros. I'm sorry. British pounds. Thank you very much. I would love to visit the UK and, well, Europe in general. You know, I'm envious of you guys in Europe, man, because you can go to so many other different countries and not have it take a super long time for you to do so. You know, I even think some folks in the United States, a lot of folks in the United States don't realize how huge this country is. Let me go back to zoom in. Because some of these states are bigger than some European countries. I read that the state that I was born in, Indiana, is about the size of Ireland. That is crazy to me. And so if I wanted to go back to Indiana from Georgia, it'll take me like 10 or 11 hours to drive there. Where could I go if I were, in Europe driving 10 or 11 hours? How many places could I hit? Completely different countries. But I'm trapped. I'm trapped between Canada and Mexico, which I would also like to visit. But it just takes a long time to get there if you're not going to fly. He was talking about the pile it was making in the poop chute while purging. Oh, shouldn't the purge tower be the same height as the print? Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. It doesn't have to be the same height as the print. Sometimes it is, but yeah. And there's different types of purge towers that you can make. This is like the standard rectangular one, but there's this other one that's kind of like I don't even know what the shape is called. It's just some really weird looking shape that I think like the H2D kind of uses by default, but you can change it. But I don't really know, to be honest with you, if it has to be the same height. I don't really think about it. I'm going to check Fluid and see how much time is left on this here print. We've got, it's 76% complete. It says slicer 4 minutes and 13 seconds. So we should be almost done. Should be almost done. For someone in Europe, they could visit Switzerland. I can't even pronounce this. Liechtenstein, Austria, Germany, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, and Slovenia, all in a 12-hour span. Man, that just sounds amazing. All in 12-hour span. You know where I would go in a 12-hour span? I would go through Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, and then Indiana, I believe. And then it's weird because sometimes when you're going from Georgia to Tennessee, you'll go from Georgia, you'll go into Tennessee, but then you'll go back to Georgia, but then you'll go back into Tennessee. It's really weird. Yeah, that's what you get with 12 hours. Farmland, you get to the windmills once you get to Indiana. You can see windmills. That's pretty cool. When you're leaving Georgia, getting to Tennessee, you can see the mountains. That's kind of cool. But for the most part, it's just nothing in that direction. Garburator poop chute next upgrade. I want to see some. See, that's the other thing with a printer like this. I don't know how much like community printing support or mod support this printer will actually have to make like something to catch the poop out of here, because there's no back to this. So, it's not like you can magnetize a poop chute and stick it somewhere. It's like that poop went right under the dresser. Oh boy. Well, at least it has some force. So I would like to see like some different spool holders and poop chute stuff and whatever else the community might think of, but that's not going to happen if the printer does not gain some type of following, get some traction. According to Google, my country is most similar to West Virginia. Wow. West Virginia's not that big. Thanks for live watching with your backer from. Hey, thanks for coming through. I appreciate that. Really appreciate that. So many European countries you can stick in America and still have plenty of space to spare. It's so big, so freaking big. And most people don't travel too far from where they live. There's so many places I have not been, and places that I will, most likely never go, like Idaho. It's like, what the heck is up there in Idaho, especially near that tip? What's up there? Do I want to know what's up there? I don't know. Sounds like it might be beautiful as far as scenery goes, but I don't know what else is up there. You never hear about it. Going to Greece next year. Oh, that sounds great. That sounds great. Yeah, I definitely need to try to visit some other country. Keep it easy with like Mexico because it's the closest, and the currency exchange is very favorable right now. So get some great food there. Oh my goodness. Maybe one day. Canada is what's up there. Went to NYC in August to see John Bellion. That was definitely an experience. I've never been to New York, another place I would like to go. America is unlike anywhere else you've been. Because America is definitely it's a interesting country, to say the least. There are more than a couple of hundred of firearms manufacturers. Oh, wow, really? A couple? Oh, high end. I thought you said 100. I'm like, what? A couple high end firearms manufacturers in Ireland. Okay, so that's where they come from. Coming from going to Greece every year. Love that place. Good food, good people. Everyone is welcome. Good old Greece. Maybe one day I can see Greece. The only grease I know comes from bacon fat. Now, when I was growing up in Indiana, I didn't realize just how close to Canada I actually was. It's not like super close, but I believe that the distance between where I was there and Canada is, well, before I say it, let me just Google map it. I'll just make sure. Because it's very close to Michigan, and Michigan is very close to Canada. That's the picture that they have in Google Maps for this? Oh, that's terrible. How dare you, Google? All right, so let me just say Canada. I remember growing up, there was a field trip to Canada, but I wasn't able to go. All right, let's see. What's the distance here? What's the distance? You mean you can't calculate driving directions? Just anywhere in Canada. All right, hold on. Let me see. Let's go to. Canada. Since Google Maps doesn't want to help. So according to Google, regular Google, it depends on where you want to go. But to Stratford, Canada, it's about 397 miles. That's it. General estimate to Ontario, 506 miles. Oh my goodness, that's nothing. Could have driven to Canada, but I had no idea how close it was. Oh boy. Geography is important. Please teach your children. Canada is the second largest country on earth. Is it? I did not know that. We can learn some things while we're waiting for this. Oh, is this print done? Is it finished? I think it might be done. Hold on. No, it's not done. It's almost done. It's almost done. The places that I have been, so I used to do a lot of traveling for like work, and that did help me to see a lot more states. So Let's see, the states I've been to. I've been to North and South Carolina, Florida, Texas, Mississippi, Arkansas. I've been to California a couple of times. I've been to Nevada, specifically Las Vegas. Let's see, Michigan, I've been to Ohio, I've been to. Yeah, a lot of space in the middle. Minnesota, a long time ago. But I have never been. I would love to go to Washington State, specifically Seattle, New York, Pennsylvania. I would like to go to the Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. That whole area. I would like to see that in the Pacific Northwest, as well as the Northeast, towards like Maine, to see what's up there. I like North Carolina though. North Carolina looks nice. I saw like a lot of mountainous scenes from over there. I was like, wow, this is pretty nice. It's peaceful. Canada has more lakes than every other country combined. Over half the world's natural lakes are in Canada. Now, with that being a fact, why would you not want to be friends with Canada? And Russia is the first, Canada second, USA third, Australia fourth, and then China. What's my first impression? Is my wife still watching this stream? She is, because now she just told me we could have driven to London, Canada, and it would have taken 5 hours and 38 minutes. Oh my God, I've wasted my life. Winter temperatures in part of Canada can top lower than one. Oh my God, that's pretty cold. But I grew up in Northwest Indiana. It would get pretty cold there. I'm sure it's not quite as cold as Canada, but you know, I'm no stranger to the cold weather. All right, so this print is done. The person asked, was their first impressions any success? My first impressions of this printer have been, it's done a fine job so far. Now, granted, I've only had it for a little over 24 hours. I've only printed a handful of things. I'll re-show the things that I've printed once I start to wrap up. But let's take a look at this Mickey Mouse Christmas ornament that I took the last half hour to print. I'll bring this closer to the camera. Hopefully you can see that there. Hope that there's enough light on it before I take it off the plate. Alrighty. Now let's pop it off. Oh, there it goes. And take off this purge tower. I try my best not to actually touch the build plate with my hands. I'm always holding it by the side because I would prefer not to clean it so much. All right. Take off this purge line. This back here. Oh, there we go. Are we lined up? Yeah, we're lined up. All right, so here's the Mickey Mouse. Let's get a little bit closer. Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't like that. All right, tell you what. Let me get a little bit closer here, and then you'll just look at the zoomed in version. All right. There it is. Move it over here. Whoop. There's our Mickey Mouse ornament. Print looks good. Never too late. We still love USA. Thank you for your love. Adopt me. Print looks good. Looks good so far. Not bad. What's the layer lines look like? What's good to you? Use Windex to clean your. But use Windex? I use like dish soap, like Dawn dish soap. Let me show you that's that first layer right there. It's kind of weird looking at the computer monitor and trying to like get the orientation correctly, but all right, let me switch back here. Are the layer lines looking at this here, once you get it in like the light, you can see the layer lines here. You can see it. It's almost like a scratching kind of effect. No ironing was applied. Perhaps with ironing, you could smooth that out better. But this is not unlike what I have seen with other multicolor, printers, even, like the Bamboo Lab printers, for example. Let me think. Can I show something? No, I don't have that. I don't have that. Let me see. Because this is something that I printed through a combination of printers, the H2D. Okay, yeah. So this was printed on the H2D. Well, let me get closer. This part was printed on the H2D. And you might be able to see like those same kind of like lines. I don't know, that light is glaring. Yeah. But this was the top surface. But then back here, that came into connection with the build plate, you don't see like those streaky lines on it as much. But they are still there when you catch them in the right light. So I would not say that, oh, this printer, you can see the lines, it means that it sucks. I'm like, well, no, it doesn't. But ironing set up properly, I think could make it look better. But for something that had absolutely no tweaking and using a generic profile, just put it on there, slice it, send it, print it. I think it looks fine. Let's see, is that all basic filament profile? Nope. I mean, yes, all basic filament profile. Didn't do anything. Did not do anything. Generic high-speed PLA profile from Orca Slicer. Is that their slice G code? Is it mine's? It is my slice G code. Could that be solved with concentric layers? I don't know. I would have to check that out. I'm curious to see the layer lines on Z, especially rounded top surfaces. Yeah, and so that's why I'm going to print some things that are larger on here, that are taller as well, just to see how it's going to behave once things actually start to, get bigger and get taller. It's nice to be able to print. I don't know how many of you guys were here at the very beginning, but to print something like this HueForge, this was 4-color, multicolor, to print something like this, and like this came out pretty good. But for something this size, I'd imagine maybe you want to print things that are taller. Or maybe you just want to print things that are, shorter, but just print more of them. But either way, both of those would have to turn out good to justify buying this printer, especially at its price. It's already kind of sitting behind the 8 ball because of the price. It's pretty, it's kind of up there compared to what you can get right now that you can get more out of. I keep bringing up Bamboo Lab simply because the price of that P1S right now is, with a combo, is cheaper than this. And at least you know what you're getting with that. And you know that you're getting, more tech. You know that you're getting something that's more, has a history, I should say, of being more reliable. So it puts this printer in this weird position. Like, it would need a pretty decent price cut to make you go like, yeah, I just want something that's bigger than normal to print some things on. I mean, if you can get it at a good price, that's great. Oh, and it has the multicolor already built in. It comes with it, even better. So yeah, but it's been holding up in these 24 hours. But we need a lot more. We need a lot more tests with this. If you were here at the beginning, I showed this model I did for a tolerance test. Here, this is the Orca Slicer tolerance test, and it was able to go through all of the, well, it was able to go through 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, and 0.1 openings with this spacer piece just falling straight through. Let me see if I can poke it out. If I can poke this out, I can show you if I don't slice my finger. Okay, so here on this 0.4, I can just put this straight on through. This is 0.3, straight on through. 0.2, straight on through. 0.1, that's when it goes through, but then it got a little bit of resistance. I can't poke it out with my thin fingers. Yeah. Come on. Don't cut yourself. There it goes. And then once you get to 0.5, that's when you got to start to really put some pressure in there. Like, it's in there, it's flush, but it just took a little bit more effort. I'm not going to try to take it out anymore. And then it just gets a little bit rougher. With the 0, fine, I guess. No worries with that. Printed PETG on here, just fine. And so far, so good. So far, no failures. No mechanical weirdness going on with this, just quite yet. But I will applaud them, WonderMaker, for making the instructions very clear and easy to understand, and even covering like some of the small, more nuanced things, such as the size of the length of the PTFE tubes and exactly where you need to put the longer ones and exactly where you need to put the shorter ones. All of the stickers around here to tell you exactly what component needs to go in these holes with the corresponding screws that they've also nicely labeled inside of the package. A problem with the FlashForge 85X, huge problem, I don't know if they ever fixed it, was in order to get the PTFE tube out of the what do you call it? It's like the 4-way connector thingy in the top of the tool head. It is extremely hard to remove that from the 85X. And it's not just me, because even they released a video showing how you can take the tubes out of that connector, and they even struggled with it. They took their pair of snips and they were like pressing down on it, and you can see the guy, he was able to get it off. But it took some effort, and I've tried doing that, and I've just like started to wear it down. It's hard to do that. But with this, it's easy. They've got these clips here to like keep it in place, but you take the clips out, you just press down on the little coupler thing and pull the tube right out. And it's easy to push down on it. I did that several times just to see if it was going to still continue to be as easy as it was the first time. And it's very easy to take these tubes out from here. It's very easy to take the tubes out from here. And it's easy to take the tubes out from here. On the FlashForge, they're almost like flush. But with these, they have enough lift so that you can definitively push them down. And I really like that, because if you get filament stuck in here and you need to get it out and you have a hard time taking this out, I mean, how are you going to get the filament out? And it's a huge issue that shouldn't be an issue. The screen, it does not have a ribbon cable, thankfully. Ribbon cables absolutely suck when it comes to these printers. They're so fragile. You got to be so gentle with them. This doesn't have ribbon cables. However, it does have 2 of these connectors that you have to plug in. One is for the screen, and the other one is for the LED light that's attached to the frame. It's really, one of the connectors for the light is very small. If you've got big hands, you might find it a little bit finicky to, route it through and to get it in there. But it's not too bad. And then it's one of these mechanisms where you put the screen into the slot and then you just move it to the right to lock it in place. It's one of those screens where now that I have it in place, I never want to take it off, because I just feel like there's a wire that's going to get pinched or torn or something. I would really prefer not to deal with those kind of bare wires when it comes to these screens like this. I would like something that was a lot more this, not wireless, but something that you didn't have to mess with the wires so much because they're so thin. They're so thin. Can you do a quick test? There are some models out there with the loose Z-axis. Can you, if yours have the same issue? What would I be able to? There's some models with a loose Z-axis. If you have a model in mind that I could print, it would be fine. Does the Z-axis wobble? No, it's not wobbling. I'm moving it. I don't want to get too crazy with it, but just the Z's not moving. Let me see. Here's the other one like this. Nothing's wobbling. If you see wobbling, it's the table. But no, nothing's wobbling. Seems sturdy to me. Let me look over here. This is the filament module. This one hasn't shaken itself loose. There's a little bit of play in the filament separator. There's a little bit of play there. It might be because of the shape of it, but there's a little bit of play in the filament separator, but no play in the module, and nothing else is moving. I don't know. Seems to be just that guy's unit. Probably, probably. It's not, everything is going, all these different units, is bound to be something that's like wrong with some of them or one of them. It happens to me as well. When I did the, the Hay Gears Reflex 2 resin printer, I had to send it back because one of the couplers was defective. The Z-axis coupler was defective and it was making a lot of noise and it was causing print failures. And from everyone that I spoke to that also reviewed that printer, no one else had that particular problem, but I did have that particular problem. And some issues that they had, I did not have. So it's just, the negativity can definitely get a foothold and will be the predominant feeling throughout groups, because you usually hear from people when they experience something that's not good. But for the people that have a pretty good experience or just a neutral experience, a lot of them don't say anything at all. That's not to discredit anybody who's having problems with it. It's just to, point out how the atmosphere can be dominated when, when the negativity starts to take hold. But it is important to, not only check this out in the videos that I'm going to be doing about this, but everybody else that does videos about this and everybody else in those Facebook groups, and just look for commonalities between them. Because if there are some dominating issues that are common across all these printers, then you'll be able to know more definitively what you might be in for if you back this or if you're trying to purchase it yourself. For example, the retraction, for example, that is something that I think could affect everyone, especially if you have full spools, because I can see the retraction being a little bit too much. I'm looking at this white spool here and I can see that there's a little bit of slack right there. But because I use so much filament, it's not in danger of going over. If the filament was full, the spool was full, then I could see that possibly happening. And that's why they're trying to change it with these other spool holders as well. Flow rate test, those bamboo clones usually push 20 to 22. Flow rate test, I can do a flow rate test. I wonder if it's just a small batch QA/QC issue. Any idea how many of these retail ZR units have been released? I have absolutely no idea. Sane Smart, which is the store that sells these, they're the ones who contacted me to ask me if I wanted to check this out. So I haven't been in contact with anyone from WonderMaker at all. So I have no idea how many of these went out. I just know that this is currently for sale, both from Sane Smart and also on Amazon, that shipped from Sane Smart. So no idea how many that they sold. No idea if this one is any different than the ones that other people are gotten to for QC or whatever. I have no idea. Like, I didn't even know it was so much drama around this printer until yesterday when someone wrote a comment in my community post about it. Hello, hello. Two fluffy kawaii girls. Hey, that's quite a name. Love to see how that cooling manages too with an overhang test or vase of some kind. Cool, cool. I should let me make some notes here because although I most likely am not going to do that during this particular live stream, but it's good for future videos unless there's an Orca test that can be done kind of quickly. I'll take a look at that real quick, but I do want to make a note in my app for some of these things that you are suggesting. So you said overhang test, and that's for the cooling. So how about like a height test thing? So something for like the z-axis height, a test for that as well. Stringing is not always because of the settings, but we can do like a stringing test. Any news on the ZR Ultra? I have no news at all about the ZR Ultra. I just know that WonderMaker is supposed to be at not Forum Labs. What's the name of that conference that's coming up? I forget the name of the conference. It starts with an F. Forum Fest. Forum Fest. Yeah, they're supposed to be at Forum Fest, and it's supposed to be there. So Forum Next, not Forum Fest. Forum Next. There you go. Check for VFAs as other units seem to have visible ones. Okay, let me put that down. VFA test as well. I just installed Orca on here right before I started the stream. I didn't have Orca on this computer because I don't use it that much. But let me see what kind of built-in tests Orca has that might be able to use. So we've got, I already did the tolerance test. There's the cube, the Benchy, the Voron cube, Orca string hail, Stanford bunny. All right, tell you what, hang on. I'm going to pop on over to printables real quick. See what we got there. Printables. Let's see if I can find something. No, Prussia, I reject all of your cookies. This is a 125 by 15 millimeter tube printed as a vase for Z-axis test on high parts. How long is that going to take? 33 minutes. Let's see. They say that this test will allow for testing your Z-axis for wobbles on a 125 millimeter tall part. It also challenge your bed adhesion, but you should print without any issue if your printer works just fine. Let me read one of the comments about this. Ooh, it's quite a long tube. Right. It's like they printed this on a Mark III, so maybe this one will be faster. I'm going to see if I can. Oh wait, this is the G code. I don't want G code. I want an STL. Oh, forget it. Let's see what else. Let's see what else might be there. Looking at the comments, have you printed anything yet? Just first, I have printed. I printed a few things. I'll show you in a second. I'm just on printables right now, trying to see if I can find like a quick test for like some Z-axis stuff. So here's another Z-axis wobble test. Don't use vase mode. Yeah, let's see. So these are just a variety of cylinders. Let me just try this regular cylinder. It looks like it has a brim. Like maybe already built in, or I don't know. All right, so I downloaded one of these. I'm going to throw it into Orca and see what we're working with. All right, so I'm going to change this preset to what I've already been using, which is the generic PLA high speed. And I'm going to look, maybe I should just leave like the infill as it is. It's using that rectilinear infill that I usually don't use, but oh no, this is going to take too long. 59 minutes. No, I don't want to do that. It's too long. Simple hollow cylinder for the total Z height. Let's see. It's going to be like one of those primitive shapes. All right, let's see. Here's a cylinder. Let's see how the basic cylinder, how long that basic. All right, so the basic cylinder will take. All right, so let me see. I'm going to increase the Z on this cylinder. Increase the Z to, let's say, 1. How tall do you think I should make this, increase the Z for this cylinder? Vase mode cylinder. Okay, a hollow cylinder. All right, I'll do that. So basic cylinder, I'm gonna go into vase mode. I haven't used vase mode in like forever. Vase. I'm gonna bend down a bit here. All right. All right, so this should take 15 minutes. I'm going to put a brim around it just in case. I don't want it to fail. You know what? No, I'm not doing that. No brim. No brim. We're going brimless. All right. All right, so I am slicing up. This will take 15 minutes. It is a hollow cylinder. I did make the Z. I increased the Z to 150% of its normal size. All right. So I'm going to send this over to the printer. Complete. Yep, we're living on the edge, living on the brimless edge. All right. So print files, here's my cylinder, and I'll do it in, what color should I do? Screw it, we're gonna do black. We're gonna do black, because I got more black filament than anything right now. All right, let's go. 15 minutes, we can do it. Let me just look back at Orca and make sure that I had the right profile and everything. WonderMaker ZR 0.4 nozzle, textured PEI plate. We're at a 0.2 millimeter layer height. And of course, there's no infill, it's hollow. There's no top shell layers. We'll see how this works. So if this does fail because, it could have used a brim, it's okay. We'll just do it over. I'm checking out on the site and no poop. No, this printer definitely does poop. This is the regular ZR. It's not the ZR Ultra. The ZR Ultra, is a tool changer, which will greatly reduce the poop if you're only using 4 colors. Let me zoom this in again. But this one is just like any other single nozzle multicolor printer. Black shows layer lines well under light 2. Okay, great. Gray is always the best for tests because it shows everything. Unfortunately, I do not have any gray loaded in right now. Never use whites for tests. I have heard that. Yeah, we're just going to see how things work out. I think 15 minutes is pretty good. I hope that my microphone battery lasts. It should be all right. I fully charged it, but you never know with these kind of things. I'm going to drink some water real quick. I need a hydration reminder. Let's see if I can catch this poop. Hey, I got it. It's a combination of the yellow and the black. Still warm. Oh, someone asked if I printed things with this. I don't know if you're still here. Are you still here? Person who said if I printed something or if it was just a first look. Because if you're still here, I'll show you some of the things that I printed so far. Yeah, it's real easy to forget to stay hydrated during these live streams. You know, not a sponsor or anything, but you know what's some great water bottles? Zojirushi. I've had this Zojirushi water bottle for, my God, probably close to 10 years. It does such a wonderful job of keeping cold drinks cold. I only use water in it because I don't want to deal with like any like sugar getting caught in mold and stuff like that. So I only drink water out of it. But my God, you put ice in there and then you put some, you know, like refrigerator water over in there with the ice. So, you know, the ice doesn't just melt immediately. Your drink, your water will stay cold for a long time. 24 hours, easy. I love this Zojirushi. So good. All right, that was you. Okay, cool. So let me show you some things that I printed here. It's just leveling right now. So the first thing, one of the first things that I printed, this is a Hue Forge with this video game called Megabonk. It was 4 colors. I did this yesterday. So that was one of them. That's the top. These are the back layers. All right, so that was the first thing. I just finished this Mickey Mouse ornament for Christmas tree ornament just now during this stream. Also the multicolor. 3 colors. I used PETG to start printing out these pieces for this Proto Man figure that I'm going to show off eventually. So here's just some PETG. Try not to get in the way of the printer. Can you see that? That was one part. Here's the back. That little hole there is supposed to be there because there's an attachment for it for like a cape. The legs for him. This had a brim on it, so I need to clean up that part for the brim. But I will tell you that this also has like these little attachment pieces. You can probably see it in the leg, like little pegs. It's supposed to put in there to connect other pieces, and they go in there nice and easily. They fit perfectly, so that's a good thing. And also in this stream, I did like this little Super Mario. It's supposed to be like a magnet. It's very tiny, 8-bit. Came out good. Came out clean. I like it. So I think the print quality so far has been good. All right, here we go. We're doing the outer perimeter. We're building it up. I have not had any outstanding issues with this printer yet, but keep in mind, I've only had it for like 24 hours. But so far, everything has been fine. There have been no failures so far, no weirdness. I checked to see if the Z-axis was wobbling or the X-axis was wobbling. There's no wobble in this. So far, so good. They look good from the camera view since it's gray. How do the VFA stacking layer look on those legs, on all those torsos? You can see on the legs and the torsos, you get in the right light, you can see like you can't see lines. You can see them. Can C-A-N. You can see them. You can see them. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's completely smooth and you can't see it. It's there. It is there. And then on the legs look pretty much just like the arms. There's a part right here, like I'm not sure if this is just the seam line right here or if this was part of the model. I'm not sure. But when you do look closely and you get it in that right light, you can see some line work. Yes, yes, yes. Whoa. I don't think these two parts go together. Yeah. Yeah, but I definitely will, once I get that like finished, and I'll just do a video showing like all these things that I printed, and you'll be able to see it a lot closer, and it'll be in better, higher definition so that you can really see what you're looking for when it comes to like, you know, those VFAs and lines and stuff like that. Great for me is a torture test and trying to be really critical of the quality for a new printer I've never heard of. Awesome. All prints will look, I just, 90% of people will never notice, let alone doing a multicolor part. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Slow and steady. We're doing good. I'm thinking that we didn't need a brim. It's holding its own. Let's see how much time we got left. Almighty Orca, show me the way. 21% done. We've got about 8 minutes and 30 seconds. It would have been faster if I didn't increase the Z, but why not? We're living dangerously, right? I'm just going to pick up some poop around here. Oh, you're very welcome, Richard. I'm happy to do this stream. Use a glove picking up the I'm going to 3D print a little glove to pick up the poop. Oh, you know what, you guys? If you're looking for something to do with your printer poop, I'll just show you this while we wait for this to finish. Hang on. I'm walking into my house. I don't know if you can still hear me. But, oh man, can I even reach this? Oh, no. All right, I got to move some stuff around. Hang on. I want to show you something that you could do if you wanted like a project to do with your 3D printed. Is this black PETG? I thought that I used all of this. Okay. Sweet. I'm finding stuff. I thought I used all my black PETG, but I didn't. Yes. Okay. I got it. I wanted to show you guys this. One thing that I did with my printer poop for like a little fun project, I'll make it full screen again. Hey, didn't fail yet. Check this out. It's like a tabletop. Epoxy resin. I had a really big like mold for a tabletop, like a silicone mold. And I took all my printer poop and I poured the resin on top of the printer poop. And then I printed this flaming Moe's from The Simpsons. I printed this wall art out. I put it in there, and just poured everything over it. And then once the resin, hardens and does this thing, you've got like a decorative item. So all I need is like one of those like set of like legs or whatever, or a stand to put this on. And this will be a custom 3D printed and resin tabletop. That's pretty cool, I think. I'm a huge Simpsons fan, so that's why I wanted to do this. But it's solid like a rock because it's resin. So, I don't know, just a little idea in case you're looking for something to do. I'll put it back. All right, just slide you right back in here. Easy does it. There we go. Put the rest of this stuff back later. All right. Oh, sorry, I didn't zoom you back in. There we go. What was my outer wall speed set to? I will check for you. What is my outer wall speed? I didn't mess with it, so it just says by default. I don't know how fast it's actually moving, but the setting inside the slicer for the outer wall is still set to 200 and the inner wall is set to 300. So I didn't change nothing, but I don't know what it's actually doing. I have no idea. Is that something that Clipper shows you? Let's see. Speed right now, it says 23.2 millimeters a second at a 1.7 millimeter cube per second flow rate. That's what Fluid is telling me. The flow is set to 100%, and the speed is also set to 100%. It's doing 220 degrees Celsius on the hot end, and the bed is set to 55 degrees Celsius. We'll get back to catch up on some of these comments. I have many 3D printers. I'm a retired engineer. Ooh, nice. With a PhD and nothing but time on your hands. Was thinking about doing my own 3D channel, but decided against it as I look like an ogre. You would be extremely welcome here in the 3D printing community. Your looks do not matter. In fact, you bring a very unique angle to this. Since you are a engineer with a PhD, there are a lot of people out there who love functional 3D printing parts and practical 3D printing, and people who love to tear apart printers and discover things with the printers. And with you being an engineer, you will have an insight that most people in this space do not have. So in the YouTube community, you have a niche that is relatively untapped and in demand. And I think that if you do it and you are consistent with it, you will be very successful. Let's see. Anyone that's not a printer passing by is like, what did he say? Such a great idea. Oh, this is for the tabletop. Yeah. You can always put ranch dressing all over it and your son-in-law would eat it. Oh, I can only take ranch in small doses. I can't do too much ranch. Wonder why it's going so slow. Maybe it's the filament settings, minimum print speed time. Maybe you just need to start on my own too. Yep. I see so many of like those YouTube videos where people got just start as their thumbnail. But it's true. Just start. You have a you're starting from a good point, a very good point. Because especially with some printers that may be put together in ways that might be a little unsafe, things that people like me would not really know what to look for when it comes to safety, like when it comes to like electrical stuff or just mechanical things in general. And being able to find those things and point them out and even come up with solutions for it would be extremely welcome in this community and needed, I say. Let me check the filament settings just so I can see what kind of settings this default generic high-speed filament profile is set to. Let's see here. Max volumetric speed is set to 18 millimeters cubed per second. Let's see what else we had here. Let's see cooling. Let's see fan speed. Blah 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 blah. And settings overrides. Nah, I'm messing with that. I don't know. But this is fine. I would rather, I want it to be done right. It doesn't have to be done the quickest. We should be almost done at this point, though. We've got, it's 83% complete. We've got about 3 minutes. 3 minutes left on the clock. I'm gonna just take a little peek here. Hey, from my vantage point, it looks good. I will reserve judgment. Someone asked me what's the first helmet that I'm going to make on this, and then Patreon was like really messing up, so I wasn't able to show. I don't know if you're still here, but if you are, this is likely where I would get my helmets from. This Yosh Studios here on Patreon, and man, they got so much stuff. Life-size Pokemon, life-size Grinch. What? But as far as helmets go, so you've got a Pink Ranger helmet, cosplay stuff. Wow. Optimus Prime, G1 Optimus Prime. Oh, wow. So it's just a look at some of the helmets that they have. I'll just have to choose which one I actually want. I know that this looks kind of weird because I'm doing like a, let me see if I can fix this. Maybe that's better right there. Yeah, that looks better, I think. Maybe. All these helmets he has. So many parts. Anyway, it's a lot to choose from. Let me go back to the print. There we go. Let me get back to the print before someone accuses me of swapping things out or something. You know how it goes. Hey, we're done. Cut filament, retract. This time around, I'm going to bring the camera closer to the printer so it can kind of just maintain the same kind of lighting. And Hopefully you'll be able to see it better. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this right here, and let's get nice and close. Because this way I can just look at the viewfinder and I'll know exactly what you can see instead of relying on like that digital zoom. All right, I know, let me focus this. Oh, that's not focused. That's still not focused. I'm gonna have to manually focus this. I'm so sorry. All right. There we go. I think like right there is pretty. So that's how that looks right there so far. I need to take it off the bed though. So bear with me. I'm gonna set you down. Take a look at this cabling. Well, I grab this off of the bed. All right. Briefly turn on autofocus. Actually, let me just stick it right here. I'll just stick it here. There we go. Rotate around there. Try to get a look on the inside. I don't see any stringing. Not really. Let's see. I'll get as close as I can. I think that might be the closest that I can get it while it still stays relatively in focus. Is that good? Trying to get it in different angles of light as well. Well, I think that's a good angle. You can see some more like aspects of it from here. All right. All right. Set you back down on the tripod. Okay. All right, going back. See what you guys have to say about that. Boop. Looks pretty good. Looks great, but the slow speed did help. Absolutely. Slow and steady wins the race. The seam looks good too. Retraction settings are fine. Looks very nice. Thank you for showing. You are very welcome. There you go. I'll make sure I save this for a future video. I like to keep like all the things that I print so I can just go back and show, especially if things have changed over time. But yeah, I think you did a good job. Great stuff. Well, let's see. I think, how long have I been on? I think it's probably about time to start wrapping it up, get some food and whatnot. But hey, thank you for everybody that showed up to check out this WonderMaker ZR stream. And it's still alive. It didn't destroy itself. That doesn't mean it won't destroy itself, but I'll just have to keep you updated. Here on Figure Feedback, you can see the progression of this. I will do a full review on it. I don't know when I'm going to do a full review on it. You know, just it takes time. You got to try different filaments, different size things, and you know, just time being the factor to see if things are going to continue to be as stable as they can be for a reasonable amount of time for me to do a review. So stay tuned for that. And check out some more of these comments. You just tested the WonderMaker profile in Orca. 300 millimeter tall vase mold cylinder. The default minimum print speed was 10 millimeters a second. Located in the cooling section of filament. Takes 48 minutes. Enjoy that. Looks better than people make it seem on socials. Got faith it gets there. This is any indication. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So, you know, if you guys did want to buy this because of this stream, the cheapest place to get it will be from Sane Smart. I think I put it in the description of this live stream. It's not an affiliate link, but that is the cheapest place that you can get it right now because Amazon is just more expensive. But that's where you can go. So I think that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And I will create some more videos about this in the future. All right. Wait to see an updated version after I had it for a while. You're very welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to leave this stream up. So if you guys wanted to share it and put it in the Facebook groups and people can look at it from beginning to end, that would be great because I'm not a part of that group. So if you want to take it, send a link. That's absolutely fine. Send it to whoever you want. I don't care. Just trying to help to show people what this thing can do in real time. But that's going to do it for now. Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Later. Drop the live in there. Thank you.